of flying from an airport in Turkish-occupied northern Cyprus to an airport in Turkey, and then to Heathrow Airport in London, and then back to Cyprus, this time landing at a Greek airport in the south. I managed this incongruous journey in 24 hours, not in order to win a bet at the Travellers Club, but rather to show what partition does to a country and a people. An island smaller than Sicily or Sardinia has been utterly divided. In an exhausting day, when I'd flown 4,000 miles, I had covered a political distance of 100 Cypriot yards. One airport I could not have used is the island's international airport, closed when the Turks invaded in 1974. It's now an empty postmodern shell, its facilities still preserved for the Cypriots of both communities who can no longer use them. The airport, like the frontier, is still caught in a frozen moment of 1974. Ever since the Turkish paratroopers fell from the sky in July of that year and cut Cyprus in two, this has been an island stranded in time. Turkey's invasion, a catastrophe on an epic scale for the Greek Cypriot majority, was greeted by many of the Turkish minority as a deliverance. The extremist coup, sponsored by the then military dictatorship in Greece, had given Turkey a long-awaited pretext for intervention. The Turkish action led to the occupation of 1/3 of the territory of Cyprus, proclamation of a separate Turkish Cypriot state, and the displacement of nearly 200,000 Greek refugees. Even 15 years afterwards, images like this are still violently impressed on the Greek Cypriot memory. The fighting brought two members of the NATO alliance to the verge of open war. On this, the third largest island in the Mediterranean, there is a permanent confrontation, not just between two communities, but between their two motherlands, Turkey and Greece, both of whom have in the past tried to annex it. The smaller country, Greece, is the furthest away, but it has the sympathy of the largest number of Cypriots. Today, the line runs exactly as it was drawn 15 years ago when the guns fell silent. It runs through houses and streets, and the middle of the capital, Nicosia. The dead zone is patrolled only by the United Nations, whose friendly, patient soldiers shuffle between two antagonistic armies, both of them members of NATO, both at daggers drawn. On the silent outskirts of the city, on a day so hot that he was the only one moving, I found Captain Bob Smallwood, a level-headed Canadian, very far from home, arbitrating a nasty dispute about the aggressive piling of sandbags.
Thank you. Our captain is very angry for a matter of the Turkish forces, and he wants to have the floor with you.
I have spoken with the operations officer of the Turkish Forces Battalion that's in that area, and I have requested an explanation.
Εάν δεν θύμιζε ακούλες παιδών, εάν δεν θύμιζε ακούλες, θα βάλω και εγώ τις διπλές που όλα τύβεται. Και όλοι να φωνάζουν παιδού, θα τις κατεβάσουμε.
Our captain said if the sandbags don't leave from there, we put the double will be put over there.
I understand. I understand that the captain will have pressure to respond, and that's why I wish him to give me the time to solve the problem and have the sandbags removed, and then we'll maintain the status quo without escalating tensions in the area.
Captain Smallwood leaves the Greek side, hoping that his diplomatic efforts will keep a lid on the situation before he drives all of 50 meters to give identical reassurances to the Turkish side. It might seem trivial to an outsider, but in these conditions and to these men, an encroachment by even one sandbag into the neutral zone is a provocation. Here, the frozen line of the frontier even runs through the negotiating table. Both parties adhere very strictly to this absurd protocol, for which real men have died.
And we would like to inform you on this matter, see what you could do. Captain Smallwood, I understand that you're doing the best as you can, but I have to point this out that these incidents hasn't just happened just once. It's been happening quite a few times. Since you're doing this, it makes my job hard, and of course it's making your job hard as well.
Please rest assured that I will be pursuing the matter with him further, and thank you very much for coming today to Charlie 45 and meeting with me. Thank you.
Charlie 45 is just one of hundreds of observation posts marking the fortified line of separation between Greeks and Turks.
Bye-bye. See you later. See you later.
From the air, Nicosia still looks like a single city, with its historic center enclosed by Venetian walls. But at ground zero, it is split down the center. 2 cities, 2 systems, 2 mayors.
Going forward. But it goes zigzag.
The Greek mayor is Leros Demetriadis.
If I wanted to telephone a friend on the other side, what would I have to do? Well, you can't do it. I once tried to do that, to ring up Mr. Ekinci on the other side. There is a line, of course. I was told to wait, and then after a few minutes, not a few minutes, about 10 minutes, Ekinci appeared at the other end. But I'm sure that in the meantime, about 10 other people put on the recordings. That's not on the Cypriots very way, listening to what was going on. It's not a very nice way to do it. You can only talk because you were officials, I suppose. I mean, if you were an ordinary Cypriot and had a Turkish friend on the other side, you can't ring. And more than that, of course, it's psychological. The percussion, I mean, it's over there and you cannot even say good morning to them.
The buffer zone also segregates Muslim from Greek Orthodox. The Church of the island's tiny Catholic community sits right on the line of division, its northern door opening onto the Turkish side and its southern entrance giving onto the Greek sector. This, rather than any religious atmosphere, makes it necessary to talk in a whisper.
This is our main door to the residence, which is well back into the Turkish side, you might say. And so, of course, we have a Turkish soldier right here. That if you look out there, and there it is. He's very sensitive about the situation.
Tell me why it's so kept shut.
We had a sad experience of one young lady who came through this door and went out the other way and didn't return. And so because they thought that we were helping someone to leave the north, as they would say, illegally, then no one could go through. So that made it very difficult.
No separation can be entirely complete, and certain people are still allowed to behave as if Cyprus was still one country. At the Leader Palace Hotel, once the envy of the Levant, but now Garrison HQ for the United Nations, and the only checkpoint on the frontier, diplomats and journalists may cross, subject to highly codified restrictions, as long as they're not Cypriots. And you can see the odd example of the triumph of expediency. Petrol may cross, but the drivers of the tanker must change. And certain foreign residents also enjoy the privilege, although it does involve them in keeping 2 sets of everything. Tourists are grudgingly permitted to cross, but only from the south to the north, and only for one day. Cypriots must keep in touch by remote control and at second hand. In Greek Nicosio's thriving commercial district, I found an old cross-border friendship while I was in search of a new suit.